Let's call the meeting to order. So first we're...
Recording in progress.
Great. Are there any additions, removals, or modifications to the meeting agenda?
Number 4, I'd like to add Pine Brook Bridge.
To village bridge discussion? Okay, we'll do that at that same time.
Yep.
And also, brought to my attention that we need to make a small amendment to the minutes. So we'll pull those off the consent agenda and vote on them just before the consent agenda. Anything else? Right.
Where is the consent agenda?
It's a good question.
I didn't see it. There isn't one.
It was on it. How did things disappear?
I don't know. I recall that when we went through the agenda, the three of us, we said to move the select board and town administrator report up ahead of it.
Yeah, that's what I did. And I did
Or
it
did
wrong.
you just do it by deleting? Well,
No, I
let's,
deleted
let us know
But can
what.
we also add a consent agenda, and that's what the treasurer's warrants and
Yep.
Oh, good catch.
What else was on it?
There was no liquor. It was
Okay.
just the two things.
So that's,
It was bills payable and minutes.
3 changes. We're going to add the Pine Brook Bridge to the discussion about the Village Covered Bridge. We're going to deal with the minutes from the last meeting, and we will add paying warrants to a consent agenda, which will be done after the meeting schedule and before the town administrator report. Okay. The second item, is there anybody here for public forum?
I am.
2 people?
2 people?
2 different items?
Two different items,
yeah.
It'll be really quick though.
What's that?
It'll be really quick.
Okay, we'll
Can
go
we go
with you
first,
guys.
Bob?
You can go first.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You want to start, Greg?
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
All right.
I'll chime in.
We're going to be quick here. Bruno and I are here both as kind of Waitsfield residents, but also members of the Conservation Commission. We wanted to commend the Select Board for bringing York Haverkamp to Waitsfield. He's been, just a joy to work with. I've watched him really work hard to become part of this community, which I think helps him do his job. One of the first remarks out of his mouth is always, "How can I help?" And he's shown up at a number of kind of Conservation Commission activities, like the tree planting at Farley Park. And he's really helping us advance our agenda, and I think the towns. And in my mind, he's way more than the typical town administrator. He's, I think, a leader. He has some visions, he has ideas, and I just know that he's going to make significant contributions to the town and to the valley. So thank you, York.
That's very nice. Thank you.
Well, this is the first. People don't usually show up to public forum to commend the select board.
Select board will take the commendation for bringing York.
You should definitely do it. You should. I couldn't say more better than what Kurt said. Definitely, we're really lucky to have him here. And thank you, Kurt. I mean, thank you, York, for being here, and we really appreciate for what you have done thus far. So, in the brief period of time, you really shown who you are. The true colors are out, and we do appreciate all the support you give us.
Well, that was extremely nice and thoughtful for you guys to come here, and I agree with you, it's deserved.
Well, that's really nice. Thanks. I mean, it's really thanks to everyone here. So, I mean, really, I'm thankful for you guys. So,
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
thanks for taking the time to give positive feedback. That's a rare thing,
after our
and much
first-
appreciated.
Yeah, after the
Like
consent agenda.
once in a row.
it kind of softens the little consent agenda thing.
After that, I should have been like, yeah, we're gonna leave.
Bobby, you want to come up to the table?
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for giving me some time, and your work was helpful with this as well, and I want to thank everyone for taking the time. I have a letter to read, and I thank you for your work as elected representatives of the people of Waitsfield. You are entrusted, the date on this is for the last meeting, but that we didn't meet. You are entrusted with making decisions on behalf of our community, and I appreciate you giving me the time to propose this non-binding resolution. Recent unsettling events have occurred that compel me to bring this resolution forward for your consideration and adoption. We have witnessed the arrests of immigrants across the United States and here in Vermont. These arrests have clearly violated the Due Process Clause guaranteed to all persons in the United States by the 5th and 14th Amendments of the United States Constitution. I believe it is incumbent upon each one of us to affirm our oaths as citizens to support and defend the Constitution of these United States. This oath signifies a commitment to the Constitution, not to a political party or an individual leader. It is this common framework for government that establishes the supreme law of the land and unites us as people. I look forward to opening the dialogue on this important declaration. There may be a gentleman joining. This, what I'm going to read you is a resolution that's started and was circulated around Rutland City and the Alder Board, and was brought to their attention. And a man named Peter Franzoni has been helping. It was actually proposed.
Recording in progress.
It was proposed by one of their alder persons, and Peter may join. He may have something to add. I don't know. I sent him the Zoom link. So, without due process, I'll just read the. Without further delay, I will read a draft resolution, and you're welcome to make changes in it if you want. The resolution has passed in 22 towns in Vermont, and you'll get a packet that includes this, and also a link at the bottom of the packet of the list, which will show you how different towns have written theirs, if you have further interest. Okay, so this is a draft of a
Recording in progress.
non-binding resolution affirming the town's commitment to due process, equal protection, and constitutional rights. The concept of due process is a cornerstone of American constitutional law. Do you want to be looking at this while I'm reading it, or okay?
Thanks for your patience, everyone. I think they're trying to figure out something out with Zoom.
It's something, sorry, our internet is not working.
Oh,
It keeps cutting in and out.
yeah. Should she might, does she have to have the video showing? Sometimes if you just use or turn the,
Might be on our end.
It just keeps closing and opening.
okay, I'll wait.
You could pass her out.
Yeah, maybe I'll pass these around, just, take one. And pass these out. Thank you. And I do have extras that a couple of extra that I can leave if,
So, you had earlier, several weeks ago, forwarded a resolution
Yeah.
that was from the city of Rutland.
from the city of
And it
Rutland,
was very Rutland specific.
Right.
It talks about the police department. This is a more
Waitsfield,
broader
yeah.
Waitsfield.
Right. And I know Facein, the select board there was also, this presentation was there, and they are going to be deliberating tomorrow night. It's on their agenda, but they requested, to see different language, so I sent them a copy of this. And one possibility is if other towns, Warren is talking about it as well, although I don't think it's been presented yet. maybe that each of the towns will have very similar language.
Yeah, I think this is a lot to digest tonight and pass it. I think the question would be, do we want to put it onto a future agenda
Okay.
with an opportunity to review it in advance and
Yeah.
make whatever amendments we feel is appropriate.
Okay.
I think there's been in the past, in going back in the past, not always agreement about whether we should weigh in on things that aren't municipal specific, but I've always felt like it's up to the board to decide
Yeah.
whether we wanted to take that
Sure.
on. So, how do folks want to proceed? Do you want to review it tonight, put it on a future agenda, talk about whether we should put it on a future agenda?
I agree with you. It's awesome that you're doing this, and I really, really appreciate it. I agree with Brian that let's read through it tonight as you're trying to. Sorry for the delay, and then let us think about it and see if there's amendments we want. But trying to do that all on the
Recording in
fly,
progress.
seems too much.
They're back, okay.
Hooray.
We hope it stays.
Sorry, folks, we seem to be having internet connections and things keep locking up. Is the person who wanted to weigh in here?
I don't see him here. And,
Is it
oh, there he is.
FTAS?
Yes, FTAS. I don't recognize him, so I don't know. Oh, good.
I'm sorry about that, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry,
Yes.
what we've gone through is Bobby introduced the resolution. We're talking about a process about whether to put it on a future agenda and an opportunity that if we do put it on a future agenda, an opportunity to make any tweaks that we might feel is appropriate. She mentioned that you kind of initiated this in Rutland and might have some background and context for us.
Yeah, well, maybe that would be good to begin with.
I'll give you the 90-second history. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know everybody wants to get on to Thanksgiving here as quick as possible. So, resolution was actually drafted by Alderman Michael Talbot, Rutland City, in response to a fairly large public turnout in March. Rutland City has a very large immigrant population. A bunch of the locals had noticed some rather foul social media postings that were associated to some of the local officials' social media. I'm still at odds trying to figure out why they came to me, but went down to the alderman and said, you're kind of in violation of your own oaths of office here. This is unacceptable, needs to cease and desist, and I'd like to come back here in 2 weeks and hear you collectively reaffirm your oaths of office. In response to that, Alderman Talbot drew up the resolution instead. As a promise to the alderman, I said I wouldn't leave Rutland alone in that, and I sent out copies of that resolution to every municipality in the state, 253. I submitted to Waitsfield clerk, I think, back in May originally. Since then, 21 municipalities have joined Rutland City, making 22 of us now. Some of them have made their own versions of the resolution. A lot of people have just taken Rutland City's version and put in their own town's name in replace of Rutland City. I'm not politically affiliated with anyone. The FTAS LLC it's my business. I do title abstract services. I'm doing this because I'm a veteran, because I have a lot of loved ones that are immigrants. I know some veterans that are immigrants. I'm not a combat vet. I'm not a war hero. It's been a very long time since I was in the service. By and large, the great deal of veterans that I've met have been since I've been discharged in the last 35 plus years. You get asked as a soldier a lot of times, you get tasked with doing things that are against your nature, against your very humanity. And you fall back on your oath of enlistment to support and defend the Constitution, and you can't answer as to why you're really doing that. And a lot of these men and women come home and they get, they talk about these experiences and they get told, why did I have to do this? And they get told because we don't have Sharia law in America, because we don't weaponize the government against our citizens in America, because we don't black bag people off the streets in this country. So that's happening now. The Constitution is defenseless without those of us that are willing to speak up in defense of it. A lot of arguments I've been hearing from the select boards is, why is this local? Why should this be in local conveyance? This is bigger than our pond, it's bigger than our sandbox. Well, it's in our backyard now. And our Vermonters have a right to know where our local officials stand. The resolution itself is a paper tiger. It doesn't commit anyone to do anything. It's simply an affirmation. All it's saying is that you're cognizant of these violations that are going on, you don't approve of them, and you're doubling down on your affirmation for everybody's collective constitutional protections. And that's nonpartisan. Doesn't matter whether you're Democrat or Republican, the Constitution protects all of us. That's the last bit of common ground we really have as Americans. So this statement is simply for all of these elected officials in all of these towns to step up and say, hey, we're not arguing whether immigration is out of control. We're not arguing whether a lot of it needs to be fixed or not. What we're arguing is going about it this way is wrong. We don't put on masks and not identify ourselves and kidnap people off the street, not allow them the legal recourse to defend themselves. We don't do that anymore. We're not supposed to. It's happening. So I guess in closing, I'd say this is an effort kind of like the public laws before the Revolutionary War, when the southern states were deputizing posses to go into the northern states to recapture slaves or just black people in general. The northern states petitioned the federal government to make them stop, and they wouldn't. So the states took it upon themselves to pass their own laws that would hold these posses accountable if they attempted to do it within their jurisdictions. Vermont was among the first. Town by town, our state wouldn't even do it as a whole first. We went town by town and passed the public laws until it became state rule, state law. You would be prosecuted if you tried to come in the state to recapture slaves. This is no different. There's risk to be taken by making this stand, certainly. But federal retaliation has not stopped in this state in spite of our silence. We're already having our federal funding messed with. Our silence is going to amount to nothing more than our complicity. So I encourage you as the elected officials of your community to stand up, let your constituents know where you stand on this, and let them know that you support their constitutional rights. And not being one of your constituents, I humbly thank you for your time, allowing me to speak, and I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for coming.
So I'm assuming you're all here in support of this.
Yeah,
Does anybody want to add anything?
it's a common sense humanity thing. It's not political. It doesn't require a committee. Just like the bridge down the street we're here to talk about next. We don't need 9 years to study a common problem accepted by everybody in plain sight. So please, find it in your capacity to move on it quickly and declare who we are.
So how do folks want to proceed? You want to our next meeting, our meeting on the 8th is limited to meeting with Facein about the fire department and our shared road agreement. I'm happy personally putting it on meeting on the 15th if everybody would like to.
Well, on the 15th.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to review it in detail before then, and then, yeah, absolutely, on the 15th.
Yeah, same for me.
That's good to me, at
Broadly
least.
supportive, but understand if people want to take the
Yeah, I
minutes read it.
don't think we should read it on the fly, but and if there is anything that anybody wants to make changes to, my sense is I'm going to be comfortable with it.
Yeah, and thank you for that excellent summary, and yeah, some of the incidents that are being reported are really horrific. People not being able to be found, and including legal residents or American citizens. So, thanks.
Okay.
I would suggest maybe if you guys agree that Bobby read it for the record since this is a recorded meeting.
Okay. That's
Take
okay.
take a
All right.
minute, but-
Okay. I'll start again. Affirming, this is a resolution affirming the town's commitment to due process, equal protection, and constitutional rights. The concept of due process is a cornerstone of American constitutional law. It ensures that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without fair legal procedures and protections. This principle is enshrined in two key amendments to the United States Constitution, the Fifth Amendment, which applies to the federal government, and the 14th Amendment, which extends these protections to state and local governments. Specifically, the Fifth Amendment states, "No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, and the 14th Amendment affirms, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. These clauses form the foundation for many civil liberties protections, including the right to a fair trial, access to legal counsel, and protection from against arbitrary detention. Whereas the United States Constitution guarantees due process, equal protection, and other fundamental rights to all persons, regardless of citizenship, immigration status, race, religion, gender identity, or political belief, and whereas recent actions by federal and state authorities, including the detention of legal residents without clear justification or timely access to legal counsel, represent a troubling erosion of these constitutional protections, and whereas history has shown that violations of rights against one group often lead to broader abuses that threaten the freedoms of all, and whereas silence in the face of such abuses amounts to complicity, and local governments have a responsibility to speak out in defense of justice and the rule of law, and now, therefore, be it resolved that the Select Board of the Town of Waitsfield unequivocally condemns all violations of due process and the misuse of government power against individuals or groups. Be it further resolved that the Town of Waitsfield affirms its unwavering commitment to protecting the constitutional rights of all people in our community, regardless of citizenship status, national origin, political belief, or any other identity. Be it further resolved that the Select Board opposes any policy or action, local, state, or federal, that targets individuals based on who they are, where they come from, or what they believe, and pledges to uphold Waitsfield as a community rooted in justice, accountability, and equal dignity. Be it further resolved that the Select Board, Town Administrator, and other staff shall, within the town's capacity and resources, review and, where necessary, recommend revisions to town policies and practices to ensure that they actively uphold and protect the due process rights of all persons within the town's jurisdiction. Be it further resolved that the Town of Waitsfield encourages residents to report any concerns related to due process, civil liberties, or discriminatory treatment. While the town does not adjudicate such matters, it is committed to listening, documenting concerns, and referring individuals to appropriate resources or authorities when necessary. The town will maintain a publicly accessible point of contact for such communications. Be it finally resolved that the Waitsfield Select Board formally invites the Washington County Sheriff and its commanders of the Vermont State Police to sign this resolution in solidarity, affirming their shared commitment to constitutional rights, equal justice, and the safety and dignity of every member of our community. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the time. Thank you everyone for coming.
I think we've got a raised hand.
Peter has a raised hand, okay. Yes.
Just to save folks a headache down the road, when Alderman Talbot drew that original resolution up, we also included a provision at the end also welcoming our chief of police and our local law enforcement to sign on to the resolution. I have since learned multiple times now, when Vermont law enforcement officers take their oath to become law enforcement officers, whether the local constable, state police, or it's sheriffs, the oath that they take to become police officers precludes them from swearing an oath to anything else. So they literally can't sign on to this resolution without being in violation of their own oath as law enforcement officers. So I had suggested to other towns, we did this at Rutland too, we suggested to just invite your local law enforcement that you've mentioned to review things with you insofar as this is what we've reviewed for town policies, this is what we approve of, this is what we don't, just to say that we've had that conversation. At least let your constituents know that you've talked to them. I don't think it's fair to ask them to sign on to anything because of how it violates their own LEO, but it would be nice to be able to say, yeah, we've had a conversation, can we at least go on the record as saying we've had a conversation with you about this? That
That's
was
fair
it.
enough.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Makes
for
sense.
that
Yeah.
enlightening, okay,
We can wordsmith that before
Huh?
the next meeting.
yeah. We can do that, okay, thank you. I'll leave a couple of copies for Larissa and others or not?
Good,
Yeah,
yeah.
great, okay.
Thanks,
All right.
everybody, for
Thank you,
taking the
Bob.
time.
Thank you for taking.
Thank you
the
so
time.
much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Peter.
Is anybody else here for public forum?
Thanks, Mac.
Irish Master Plan.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
How you doing?
We're talking about Oliver.
How timely is that?
All the ones that are.
Still standing.
So the next item, regular business, is the presentation of the Irisville Village Master Plan. Jonathan, is that you? And JB and Anne Marie? And, I guess.
JB's here. My apologies. My camera is not working with Zoom after an update today. It did just work with Google Meets, but otherwise I'd have my camera on, so I apologize.
So who is gonna lead the presentation?
That's a great question. JB, did you want to lead? I'm only hesitating because I don't know if Anne Marie and JB had a chance to connect before the meeting today. Okay, Anne Marie, so
we did chat, yes, but I think Anne Marie was gonna take the lead on this, and I'm
yeah. So
yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Well, I don't need to open up the draft because I assume that everyone has had an opportunity to review it. But the main thing that I wanted to say was that we received quite a bit of feedback from two primary situations. One from Joshua Schwartz. He was phenomenal. He gave us probably 3 pages worth of very, very valuable feedback. The second one was the Planning Commission themselves. The Planning Commission spent at least half of their meeting on this, and it was very fruitful as well. For example, one of the feedback we received from the Planning Commission was on the identification of how many housing units were proposed in this draft plan. And originally, it was written that there would be 70 units, and that has since then been changed to be 70 units within the whole service, the wastewater service area, primarily so that, I mean, and it is true, I mean, it is 70 units within the whole service area, but also we wanted to avoid any kind of anxiety over, oh my God, we're gonna have, so many new buildings in Iversville, where are we gonna put everyone? So we don't wanna start going down that road with our community. So, and we wanted to say these are homes that we're proposing as infill, not housing units. This is going to be a tremendous advantage for the community to be able to have a new Main Street on Slow Road, and to be able to develop on the first block that we know is completely developable, which is where the septic is now for Shaw's. There's no wetland on it. That's our first block. We know we can do, our first step is our first block. And we super hope that we will be able to then move down the Slow Road, starting with the area across the street from the former TD Bank. and then maybe even move on from there. So that's the primary discussions that we've had since we've received this, what we feel is very impressive master plan from SE Group. Working with them has been pure joy. They've been above and beyond in their openness and spending so much time with us. Is there anything that I'm missing, Jonathan and JB?
Well, I'd be happy to provide a little bit of context for this. So we pursued this project through a 2024 municipal planning grant. We did it in partnership with the town of Facein so we can get some extra funds. So it is a consortium project, although it just concerns Irisville and the town of Waitsfield. We had at that time, so it's a $50,000 project, $45,000 grant at the town match of about $5,000. We did this with a phenomenal steering committee, which was led by Anne Marie and Mac Rood. We had representation from the Friends of the Mad River. We had Keziah Haviland, who's worn many hats in this community. Brian Shoup of the Select Board, Jonathan as well, and of course we had Josh Schwartz and Sam Robinson of the Planning District.
Sean Lawson.
And Sean Lawson, exactly, the biggest owner, or one of the two biggest owners in Irisville. So it's been a great collaboration over the last 2 years. We feel that this document is a real breath of fresh air. While it does focus on a certain section of Irisville, we did get there through a collaborative process to focus on that area. Certain other parts of Irisville, which do have some developable land, which are pretty much well without the outside of the wetlands, are under private ownership. And I think the committee as a whole felt we didn't want to go down that road of the land is not necessarily prime for development anytime soon. So we took a look at what we had right now. So it did focus in the area around Slow Road, but I think it was it's an aspirational document. It absolutely hinges on the wastewater system being constructed, but again, it's aspirational. It does call for a collaboration, I think, in the future with the town and some private landowners. We've worked with A&R and Shannon Morrison at the Wetlands Division at the outset of this project. Actually, meetings with her really led to this project being born. We've had some back and forth with A&R as we proceeded through this project. Including some feedback, some communication with our state reps, because we felt we weren't quite getting the answers we had hoped for, the answers that we had originally set out this project to bring to fruition. So, but it does, as a whole, it proposes impacting not more than 15% of what are called low functioning wetlands, as deemed by the Arrowwood Environmental in a 2021 study that they did for the town of Waitsfield, specifically studying wetlands within Irisville. So we propose some moderate impacts to those low functioning wetlands, while at the same time conserving the high-functioning wetlands in perpetuity. So the goal is to promote compact village development, while at the same time ensuring the absorptive capacity of Irisville remains intact, if not improves, as we go on. So, thank you.
And JB, with regard to the wetlands, the impact on so-called low-functioning wetlands would be mitigated by replicating those values elsewhere?
That is one. So not only would we be proposing to conserve the high-functioning wetlands in perpetuity, we'd be looking to take certain measures to offset any impact, whether A&R allowed us to impact the buffers, not necessarily the low-functioning wetlands themselves, but just those buffers to offset any sort of detrimental impact with other stormwater measurements in town, rain gardens, stormwater ponds, what have you. We also, thanks to, along with York, we have applied for a grant through a community development block grant to look at doing some work on the town stormwater pond there on Carroll Road. In addition to upsizing the culvert there, perhaps other measures beyond that. And then there's also potential looking at a parcel on the corner along Carroll Road to perhaps just kind of enhance those wetlands that have been degraded. So certainly other measures to offset any sort of detrimental impact. I think the goal is to improve the resiliency, flood resiliency of the lower Bridge Street area, which is the one that Irisville would impact. Sorry about the dogs.
Any questions or Fred?
So I understand that you've got 70 units in the Irisville area, not just necessarily.
No, in the service area.
Service area.
Yeah, so the wastewater project is
Irisville.
Irisville, right.
Yeah.
So how many units are you looking at on the slow road? Because originally you said you wanted 70 in there, right? And now you're down.
Well,
Is that what I understand?
originally, we just said 70 for Irisville.
Okay, I misunderstood maybe.
And so what we're saying is 70 for the wastewater service area.
Okay,
So that goes all the way down to the elementary school.
Yeah, so that number just got carried over. It's, with the additional capacity left over after priority parcels are hooked up to this municipal system, there's a certain allotment for residential growth, as well as a lesser amount for commercial growth. And a mix of 70 dwellings, 1 and 2 bedroom dwellings is what the wastewater project is hoping for. And that number got carried over to the Irisville master planning project. So really, and that's one of the fixes, that's the main fix that Anne Marie alluded to, is we wanted to make sure those 70 units were not all gonna be in Irisville. That's what we're hoping to get out of the project for the village and for Irisville.
okay.
There's no set number for Irisville itself.
Okay,
We
you
wanna
don't
see a lot
have
of mixed use there.
Okay, so you don't have a proposed number for just the slow road area? You do
No.
not have a number? Okay,
We wanted to keep that, we didn't want to be prescriptive about exactly, both because we didn't want to propose tying the select board's hands as far as, implementing any kind of zoning rules around that, or the DRB's hand in terms of permitting individual projects. We also didn't want to impose an artificial cap either on Irisville. If it turned out that the build out of Irisville as things progress moved in the direction of up to 70 units, and it was, things were going swimmingly with the community, we wouldn't want to artificially prevent that.
okay.
But, our assumption though is that that's not going to be the natural course of things, and that there will be projects that occur in the village, moving up towards the elementary school. And we certainly don't want to suggest, publicly through this planning project that we would be not favoring those developments just because they didn't happen to fall geographically in Irisville.
Okay, I was just trying to get a mental picture of what the slow road
Sure.
might look like 10, 20 years
Yeah.
from now, that's all.
And that, I appreciate that, Jonathan, that actually, and I think I've voiced this concern a couple times. My concern is that, Irisville as a whole is gonna be served by wastewater, hopefully, and water. And I would hate to be so prescriptive to say, no, we're only gonna allocate that to the slow road and pass up opportunities for housing in good locations.
Absolutely.
In the future, so.
Absolutely.
And the comment period is still open, correct?
It is.
Until-
Through Monday, I believe, right?
Okay.
Through December 1st, yep.
It was the main reason we really wanted to have this tonight, so
'Cause
that.
I've
this
got
can be part of the
3
process.
comments, we kinda just addressed one with wastewater capacity, I can just go ahead and do that through the online thing, if that's okay. Unless, maybe we should all, unless there's any specific.
No, that was
concerns or
very helpful,
comments.
that was very helpful, thank
That was
you.
a good explanation, thanks.
Yeah.
I think it's important, correct me if I'm wrong, JB, Anne Marie, and Jonathan, this is like, it's a plan, but the truth is this is private property. And
Yeah.
like, these are people's land, and so, and yes, the select board's is gonna have some say in the months to come of allocation for wastewater and how that's gonna look, because honestly, we don't know right now. But this leaves land, if someone anywhere in Waitsfield Village or anywhere in Waitersville is like, oh, I wanna put in 15 affordable homes, and it's not on Slow Road, that's where, policy is gonna become action. And right now, this is one possibility that makes it possible because of wetland. Does that sound right?
Yeah, and I would even go further to say, maybe not even because of wetland, but because of historical development patterns and the expectations of the community. Slow Road is where there currently is a gas station, there's currently a grocery store, there's sort of an expectation of commerce in that area and sort of more dense, for lack of a better word, sort of, city life development. And so we didn't think it was out of keeping with the character of that part of town to propose, or maybe not even propose, but to suggest that there could be, some more dense residential and mixed use structures built. And we also were cognizant of the fact that 100 does not function well as a main street in that part of town, just due to really the historical development pattern along it being sort of facing away from it, and the speed not being ideal and no parking. So Slow Road presented itself as sort of maybe not ideal, but an opportunity for a new main street that had the potential to be redeveloped. And to some degree, a potential benefit that there are fewer landowners along that street. And so there could be potentially more opportunity for unified development approaches along that street. But that's certainly not to say that we would not, as a planning commission, would not be excited to see proposals, further down towards Fiddler's Green or within that area or out in the village, wherever. This was simply a sort of, a proposal, mostly to get ideas flowing, to get people to think about what could it look like, and not say it has to look like this.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Jonathan. And we have the new owners of the shopping center, as well as the Scadium board, and obviously Sean being on the committee. They've all been actively engaged throughout this entire process.
Well, just historically, the town actually has done a really good job of controlling access on Route 100 to keep cars moving, which has been counterproductive in some respects to making it pedestrian friendly. So that's a reality. And also the Slow Road was actually, Fred, you may remember, it was built by the town in conjunction with the development of the shopping centers to provide depth and development opportunities off of Route 100. So it's just consistent with that.
Well, what I remember is they wanted to keep the flow on Route 100 flowing.
Yes.
And the slow
this
road
was-
would, yeah.
Yeah. Just two quick things. And I can send it an email in the online form. It references public-private partnerships in the CHIP bill that passed, and I'm not that familiar with that. My understanding of it was that it enables easier adoption of tax increment financing, not necessarily just a public-private partnership, but I'm just curious, looking at some of the recommendations, I'm a little skeptical that impact fees would have a huge impact, but I think tax increment financing really could. And I'm just, if there's an opportunity when you finalize this to flesh that out a little bit, that might be helpful, because I think that's something, I think the wastewater committee has looked at that, correct?
Yeah.
Not in
Not-
huge detail.
Well, wastewater, CHIP,
Yeah.
it's not very clear yet with CHIP, if they mention wastewater, but I'm not sure they've really developed that thought well, at least I haven't seen it, but I know that it's probably very promising
Yeah.
when it comes to the Irisville.
And then just the second thing, this is just a personal thing, the reference to the governor's executive order implies that there's not gonna be mitigation, that it's just allowing development of unmapped class 2 wetlands. I would hate to see that as a proposed policy, and that executive order is not in effect, it's not likely gonna go into effect. If it does go into effect, it's gonna be tied up in litigation for a long time, because the governor can't change law, and it's a law that unmapped wetlands, class 2 wetlands are wetlands by definition. So I worry a little bit about that specific policy, and I can follow up with that online.
Yeah. Sure, yeah, thanks. And Brian, I don't think, I'm doubtful as to how much that executive order really impacts us here, because as far as I can tell, I think most of the wetlands, if not all of them, have been somewhat mapped in Irisville, whether they're high functioning or low functioning. So we proceeded on the course we set a long time ago without regard to that order.
Yeah, and I guess I would just,
And I
sorry.
believe all we did is mention it, and we mentioned the exact, section number, so if anyone was really interested in reviewing that, to seeing what it was. We just thought since it was a contemporary thing going on now, we would be remiss if we didn't mention it.
I just had.
From a visual perspective, and maybe this is silly, but I mean, I'm pretty sure that we're looking at page 27 of, or 35.
Oh, yeah.
In any event, that is very highlighted and bold, and the fact that something that doesn't actually really pertain to the project at hand is made visually very prominent. I can understand why people would think that this is something that's very important to the proposed master plan. So
That's great. Yeah, thank you for that. I think we'll bring that back to the consultant. I tend to agree.
Yeah, we could definitely unbold it, unembolden it.
Yeah, I think it just goes to serve that, I mean, we were getting a lot of either complete silence or pushback, I think, from the Wetlands Division. And we had submitted, I thought, a very strong letter on behalf of the committee. And then the order came out subsequent to that. So I just think it's more or less trying to highlight that there is a need and a push, at least at some levels of the state, for more housing here. And I just think that the agencies need to work together for the common goal. And I think, but again, I think the wetlands that would be impacted in Irisville are all mapped. And so again, I just don't think that order would really pertain to us. So I think even now, so we should unbold it at the very least.
What was your response to the letter, JB?
That was my question too.
We got what seemed to be a copy and paste of a lot of statutes. And then so we had an initial email which went out, and then we got a copy and paste of some statutes, and then there was no response to the letter.
None.
There was a recognition of its receipt, and an intent to follow up, but then we never heard anything back.
Okay.
I just had just a quick comment / suggestion. You and probably all of us are going to be talking about this in the community and presenting this draft plan or final plan once it gets finalized. There's a section in here on page 8 of the plan. I think it's 16 of our packet, but it's page 8 of the plan that puts the growth plan in context of all the other work that's been happening over the last decade on the update of the town plan and the new zoning, wastewater initiatives, the active transportation corridor. I think putting this plan in that context, we should do that every single time. This is not just kind of something out of the blue. This has been part of a real strong effort over the last decade.
2 decades. Maybe 3.
So just a friendly suggestion.
100%, Josh, thank you. Yeah, it's, I think, especially with the work of the last few years, from the bylaw modernization project to the wastewater, to the master plan, they're all pieces to the town's future that are vital.
Yeah, the neighborhood.
And built upon the shoulders of those past.
Yeah, cool, awesome.
Anything else? Well, thanks a lot. Thanks for not only the presentation, but all of the work leading up to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's exciting.
Hopefully, everything's gonna fall into place with wastewater and the master plan.
Yeah, and I was gonna say,
Absolutely.
I appreciate the page, what page is it? 27 of the presentation, 35 in our packet, which has the categories of different things to think about and evaluate that are concrete steps we need to take once wastewater goes in, including the Home Act and
Yeah.
the different ordinances we need to be thinking about in
Yeah.
advance. So I really appreciate that, Paige. Thanks for putting that together.
Yeah, and I will say that the allocation policy that would be developed is going to be a really, really important document for this community. It's gonna take a lot of
Yeah.
work and brain power to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you.
and another addition that we made that I felt was important was quoting the town plan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that this project was one of the goals of the town plan.
I think as Chad said, it
Yeah.
has been forever.
Yes.
But I agree, it's important to kind of remind the community that we've taken all these steps, we were checking all these boxes, this has been a long and ton of effort that's gone into it, so that's great.
Well, and that has the dual purpose of both reminding community that's been here for a while, but also sort of orienting newer members of the community as to the context that they're stepping into as a relatively new member of the community. So I appreciate that as well, for sure.
Thanks. It's a good reminder that we did have 2 community open house events, and there was overwhelming. We had 3 different scenarios. One was pretty much do nothing. One was a moderate infill, and the other was a fuller build out. Not to be confused with the full build out of proposed 20 years ago, which basically had 1/16 of an acre zoning, which was very ambitious. But there was overwhelming support for this build out that has come out of this committee. So the community seems to have been behind it.
Yeah, SE Group did a really good job with the public process,
Yeah.
They did,
and the planning commission.
They've been a great partner.
yes.
I think this document is really well made. It's clear, it's great.
Well, thanks, everybody. We'll move on to talk about bridges.
Thank you all.
Thank you, thank you
Thanks
so
all.
much.
Next item is an update on the Meadow Road Bridge. York.
I guess I would just highlight the town administrator report and we can go over it if that's best.
Why don't you, run through it for the
Yeah.
record?
So we, the select board 2 weeks ago basically gave a list of 7-8 things for me to pursue, and that's what we've done. It took a few days to get into the DMV website, but the bridge is officially registered on the DMV website for the 8-ton weight limit. Public notices have been on the newspaper, Front Porch Forum, Facebook. It's the top banner of our website. Josh Rogers, our road foreman, was kind enough to contact about 20 companies to alert them to the seriousness of the weight limit. And we've heard word that it seems to be effective. These companies are taking that into consideration. Even our road crew is now planning on using the big truck to plow the bridge, and they're gonna plow to it, and then have the little pickup truck do it. The sheriff's department, as requested, has increased part of the patrol hours at the bridge, and we've been in communication about that. They have said if the select board would like to add hours, they could allocate some more hours to the town for a short time. With that said, we feel like the education that we've been really hammering has been effective so far. There are 2 electronic signs on both sides of the bridge, just simply saying 8-ton weight limit, no trucks. The 24,000-pound weight limit signs that were on Route 100, just like as you go down, which were a little misleading, have been removed. I have begun the temporary bridge application. It's a pretty big push. And since we were, so far all of our communications with V-Trans have said that they do not expect that we will get a temporary bridge anytime soon. With that said, we still felt like it was important to start the process, and so I will continue doing that. Cameron, yeah, go ahead.
Interrupt, apologize, I missed the last meeting, but it might be good for the public record as well, it's just what is the temporary bridge option?
V-Trans has temporary bridges. In theory, they have temporary bridges. there's a very small supply of them. And my understanding is that all right now they are in use. As they become available, V-Trans has a list of places that they would go to next. My understanding is where those are planned to go are bridges that are literally closed. And V-Trans's opinion is if we can keep this bridge to 8 tons, right now it is a usable bridge.
Okay.
Does that answer that?
Yeah, so it seems unlikely that we'd see a temporary bridge anytime soon.
Through
But
V-Trans.
wasn't there other contextual information about V-Trans basically saying that, or maybe I misunderstood at our last meeting, that essentially because the deterioration of the bridge was due to deferred maintenance, we wouldn't qualify? Or did I misunderstand?
Maybe. I think that may have been a sub-bullet. I think the first
Okay.
bullet was what I said, but yeah, I think there was reference to maybe deferred maintenance.
Okay, I recognize your time is a scarce resource. I don't wanna send you on a wild goose chase. It seemed like if there's a possibility, and I think, Brian, you made a compelling case for why this shouldn't just be foisted onto the town's deferred maintenance issues, that there are sort of other mitigating circumstances that it might be worth applying. But I also, yeah, as I said, I don't want this to eat York's time.
Well, V-Trans also, other voices within V-Trans concluded that the use of the bridge as a detour during the last flooding significantly exacerbated the deterioration. And we had been hopeful that FEMA had given indications that they may step in and provide some assistance, and that's still outstanding.
It is.
But we are about to get some reimbursements for our work for flood
That's right.
recovery last year, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think we would have already been reimbursed if the government shutdown hadn't happened.
And
But-
that's not related to the bridge, just.
No, but that's from the July 10, 2024 flooding event. Yeah, and we did receive an email after the government reopened saying FEMA is starting to do that process. So yeah, that's mid-$40,000 range for some of the work.
And the 2 culverts and Centerface and Old Centerface are still outstanding issues.
That's correct.
And is the bridge still in play?
Yep.
Okay. But that would only be design money.
That's only design money if it's fixable. And its own, so the RFP that I wrote is for the Meadowbrook Bridge is broken out into 2 parts. The decking, because that's FEMA funded, and then seeing if we can bolster the bridge. Again, I'll just add that our town engineer has actually spent he's gone there a couple times. Most recently he went, and I don't remember if I included it. He is very, very skeptical that there would be an appropriate amount of money we could put to the bridge to extend its life, and even more, not more importantly, but equally important, to raise the weight limit. We're still looking into that process. Contractors are looking at it, and we'll come back to you if there's any.
We got a reply
promise.
from Eastern Engineering, Tyler. He basically says it's not worth putting our money into it to try to fix it up.
I'm increasingly of the opinion that we just need a new bridge.
We need a new bridge.
That can cover a reasonable amount of weight so trucks can deliver services.
I think we ought to actively start the process of bridge replacement.
Yeah.
Is anyone looking at how much the bridge would have degraded, or the impact on the bridge from the decision to close, or the necessity and decision to close Route 100? If the state didn't look at that, is someone looking at that? And because, I want to make sure to, as Brian pushed back on the record, that, that was a huge contributory piece, and that the deferred maintenance evidence is a little.
It's proven a little difficult. So V-Trans did say, not officially, but people in V-Trans that are inspectors, engineers, said that there's no doubt that it created more of an issue for the bridge.
Yeah,
However, it's not in the inspection report. And that.
Was it looked at, though? Do we know?
FEMA has told me that we could pay to have another inspection done, don't quote me on this, but it's essentially what they said. To say, that would say, yes, besides the decking, there's other damage to the bridge, and we can say that it was from Route 100 closing and it being used as a detour. Currently, that is not the case, and FEMA's just, as of now, willing to pay for the A&E for the decking and for the decking itself, which is a lot of money, for the record, and
It would be worthwhile for an 8-ton bridge before we can replace it, but, you know, I don't think we should, the town should not be off the hook for knowing that that bridge, you know, is not gonna last forever. And 12 years ago, the select board talked about whether they should start putting a plan in place, and they decided they didn't need to because the inspection report didn't say it was deteriorated. You know, since I've been on the select board, it hasn't been the top of the issue until the flood, but I think it needs to be.
Well, the flood caused, because of the extra traffic that caused there, further damaged the decking.
Yes.
But the underpinning, the steel work underneath, the big holes that we see in the bridge report, that's something that's cumulative over many, many years.
Yep.
So we can't say that the flooding event precipitated the failure of this bridge.
It was inevitable.
It was inevitable. It was at its life expectancy.
in terms of long-term, CVRPC put in the grant application this summer, fall, for engineering for a new bridge. That would be great if that was awarded. Again, if the last 5 years, there was a lot of money for bridges, a lot, because of the infrastructure bill and a little bit of the Inflation Reduction, mostly the infrastructure bill. There were 3 bridge grants. I worked on many of them in my previous role in National League of Cities, and I feel pretty strongly we would have had a strong application. So if we get to the point where those come back open, I think we'd have a really strong application. Currently, they're no longer available.
Although V-Trans does have a bridge that Alice, through the Regional Planning Commission, shared with us, bridge grant program.
Yes, and that I think is, we will look at applying for that in April.
I think it was February or April, yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's hope, and you know, we'll just keep seeing what we can find. And then also, going back to temporary bridges, I have heard that there might be other contractors, construction firms that maybe have temporary bridges, and so that's something else we need to look into.
We ought to look at getting a heavy-duty Bailey Bridge in there.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that a steel bridge or something?
A steel bridge. It's
Yeah.
Army type of thing.
Yeah.
Because that could be installed very quickly. We'd have to do some earthwork and abutment work, but a Bailey Bridge would be just like plopping it in there.
But as of now, as V-Trans said, it's not in imminent peril of collapsing into the river at 8 tons. So
At 8 tons.
we're gonna have to live with that for the short term until we
Yes.
can figure out a plan.
I think we ought to pull those 2 RFPs. I mean, we've got
For the
engineers.
temporary?
Yeah, for the temporary fix.
Well,
Because
I
I don't
mean,
see us, I don't think it's wise to pump more money into that bridge.
Well, that's part of the reason I've contacted a couple contractors, just then to have a conversation. And then them, you know, as opposed to it being an official proposal, et cetera, et cetera.
And we got one back and he says, it's not worth putting the money in.
Yeah.
I think we ought to pull those 2 RFPs and start actively planning for its replacement.
Agreed. I mean, pulling the RPs, I haven't gotten any proposals, and we don't have to entertain proposals.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about pulling them. Somebody might come in with a good idea that's worth thinking about, but.
But I think maybe, at least in our minds.
Yeah.
We ought
Yeah.
to maybe take that idea and set it aside
Yeah.
and start actively.
And I do think possibly, I mean, you know, we've talked about the Pine Brook Bridge, and that maybe if a temporary bridge could go in there, that would be more affordable. I mean, and maybe not, but my point is, I think we need to have creative problem solving for the short term into the long term. Long term, Meadow Road Bridge is too important. But if a temporary bridge, if that's a shorter span or something, then maybe there's a possibility there that'd be more affordable.
Just back on temporary bridges, so I can satisfy myself. So right now, the bridge is open, it's not on the, in the sub-bullet one, it's not on the list of places where temporary bridges can go because it's not closed. But, thinking of the worst, if we weren't able to keep vehicles off for some reason, or it was forced to be closed, and it could go on the list for that reason, if it was not able to go on the list for the sub-bullet reason that has been kind of alluded to, I'm curious what we think a study would cost to get us off that sub-bullet list that you mentioned before.
I don't know.
Just curious.
And my
And
guess
there
is
are-
it wouldn't be a lot.
That was the
And
answer
I don't know how
was.
that plays with the official V-Trans inspection report. I mean, that would take a little homework.
Yep.
But that would be worth entertaining possibly.
And there are private sector, Facein, I believe, has 2 temporary bridges in use now because of flood damage, and I think one of them at least is the contract with a private contractor. And I think we're talking, the temporary bridge, I don't think we want to do a temporary bridge as long as we still have use of the current bridge.
Of course, no, it's like a,
planning.
it's like a waterfall, if it is closed,
Yeah.
then if we can't get on the temporary bridge list, if it's closed because of the deferred maintenance versus increased traffic.
Yeah.
Thing then.
And I don't know, like the agriculture sector does apply, as I think I've shared, they're exempt, they can use the bridge. Anything over 8 tons, they are liable. It's state law. There's nothing we can do about it. Josh has made the calls, Josh Rogers, the road foreman, the signs are there, we're educating. And so, it's almost use at their own risk.
Sorry,
And
liable if an incident happens while they're on the bridge, right? But
it's
they're not,
hard, I don't know how you,
they're not liable for increased damage to the bridge.
I don't know.
Or how does that work?
I think it would be very hard to prove. Yeah.
I think
And when
that-
you said Josh Rogers been making lots of calls, was that he's also calling agricultural
Yep.
truck? Okay, so that was the part I
And I
wasn't
think
sure.
it might be helpful, Josh saying, we are not even putting our heavy trucks on there, because people have a huge amount of respect for Josh Rogers, I think actually does carry weight with some of them, is my understanding.
Well, I can report that the traffic down Meadow Road is drastically reduced.
Really?
Yeah, passenger vehicles, everything, and I've seen
You haven't
very.
sent me a picture of a tractor trailer in weeks.
I did stop a Home Depot truck the other day and told them it was closed and they couldn't use it, and they proceeded to go over it anyway.
Oh, really?
But that's the only heavy vehicle that I've seen recently. Have you folks seen
Well,
that?
we had a Home
Agricultural.
Depot, call us and say, we can't cross the bridge. And I said, I'm coming your way, I'll meet you and I'll take you to Moortown and so they stopped on their own to say, we can't come this way because they saw it. Probably not the same truck.
Yeah, probably.
But they came and they went all the way around, but they saw it and they listened to it and they did respect it.
Good.
So that was, made me feel good, and I said, come around, I'll show you, because we're in some.
It's agriculture trucks, it's manure trucks.
Yeah.
That manure trailer's gotta be 30,000 pounds, 50,000 pounds. It's not, I just don't newcomer, sorry, it's hard to understand how, if the legal opinions are that 8 tons is the limit for safety now, how any existing agricultural sacrosanct rule can still prevail. They gotta stop too. It's not enough, the bridge never cracks the second somebody goes over, it's the next guy. It's like a foul in the NFL.
Yeah,
The first guy doesn't get it, the second guy gets called, and that's us.
well,
Because
it's,
we're following these guys on our way home every day.
it's a state law. The idea is, if the cow is over here and the feed is over here, and there's a bridge in between, they have to go across it.
I only want them to cut the load in half right now and not drop the bridge out, because frankly, if the bridge goes tomorrow, with all due respect, it's how long, a year or two before we get use of that road back?
Very possibly.
So, it just seems to me, by your own acknowledgement tonight, 12 years ago, you recognized the bridge was failing. But we missed the window of opportunity for money then, and I simply wanna echo Fred's point about the RFP infill, all that needs to be jettisoned. That bridge is done. A new bridge is needed. You don't need a study to tell you whether you need a new bridge or not. You simply need to proceed as fast as cheap as possible.
That's the conclusion we're
To,
reaching.
get a bond out, let us help sell it.
Well, I wanna also add that in the short time we've lived there, watching the bridge too, as Fred's neighbor,
Are you guys up the hill?
Yeah,
right next-
we,
next
the
to-
lights flashing in our face
we've
every
seen
night now.
3 emergency responder events in the about 9 months we've lived there. And that's just been when we've been home. So my concern is the safety and the potential risk for not having that access for that need. And I think prevention is certainly something we need to also be thinking about, not just holding the promise and the hope of stretching it out. But I think there's risk there for families and lives that we should.
Did you talk to Jared about our coordinating with Moortown for emergency response?
I did.
You did?
I did.
And real quick, you might have already said it, but just for our minute taker, could you guys say your names?
Colleen Centerfit, Jimmy Centerfit.
Jimmy, sir.
Thank
I
you.
also want to acknowledge that there are a number of area residents who have been sensitive to the situation, including Fred himself. He logging some of his property, they all went out the other road. Nobody went down.
Yep.
So I think in general, I would echo the fact that, I mean, the signs have had an impact, the flashing signs compared, we watched the big sign go from, what, to go from 24, 16, 12, 8, it didn't matter at all. They weren't gonna stop at that, but you throw the flashing light at them, people stop to see, well, can I make it over before it cracks or what? But, yeah, so people are trying, and we empathize with the farm operation. It's just, I don't empathize with them enough to watch them knock the bridge out because they got an exemption. When the bridge is done for, they need to come over in smaller trucks right now. If everybody else is avoiding it, they can still, I mean, to go over it with 12 or 15 tons, when it got an 8-ton limit, that's one thing. To go over it with 30 or 40,000 pounds,
So
that's a danger.
100% agree, and I just wanted to, so the law just says they're not subject to, and they can go. I just wonder if we could advocate with our state representatives for possibly, if there is a reasonably practicable alternative route, that should be taken, and I'm not sure how to exactly put that into the statute, but
It'd be
it
an
shouldn't.
active legislature.
Yes, no, 100%, but it seems to me common sense, if there is a way to go that doesn't add, a completely unachievable amount of time, then that way should be taken, and I just, I would
One
advocate for
question
that.
related to that was something that the driver from the Home Depot truck asked me. He said, I don't know why it was showing me to take this route. So were some of the notifications that were made, was it to influence what, maps would
That was
direct people? Because if we could redirect on maps through that process, then it would
That was my next
circumvent
question,
that.
actually.
GPS has taken big trucks through our covered bridges before.
Well,
Ask Stowe
So-
about the notch.
so there's two things that I think we should look into. One, there is a little alert, I think, that you can have
Right.
pop up on Google or Apple Maps that might say, hey, weight limit here. Because the problem is, at least for residential drivers, I'm not putting in the weight of my car before saying I wanna go deliver this refrigerator to Dave's house.
I did just wanna mention, earlier it sounded like there was the opportunity to try and be sure you didn't leave any money left on the table by making the point that the closure of Route 100 expedited the demise of the bridge. We're certainly willing, we got here just in time
There's a thoroughfare in front of our house.
to watch the road, the floods send the traffic in front of our house.
We wanted
and
to put
over
up a
the
toll bridge and then we could have paid for the bridge.
And Fred will tell you, each week I'd be coming in with a new plan for giant rubber speed bumps that would have made the town of Warren cringe, because they can hardly talk about it, but, we clearly, on an anecdotal basis of just walking down there and watching it, that bridge went down hard in that period of time.
Yeah, it did.
And-
The decking.
And because
The
it was already on its last legs, it just couldn't take that extra load.
The decking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
took it down
Yeah.
deeper than we'd ever seen it before.
Yeah, exactly.
I was driving by your house 3 or 4 times a day.
Yeah, I mean, we all drove it, we were all in the, we were all in the traffic jam and saw the speeds that were happening and.
I never realized how important that little bridge was for this valley. I never thought of it once until that flood in '24.
So Fred, you said you talked to emergency management folks?
Yes, I was gonna bring it up in roundtable. I went over and emergency management sat down with fire officers and everything, had a good discussion on communications with emergency management, and we did discuss the bridge. They're only gonna use it in extreme cases. If they're gonna go look for a smoke detector that's sounding, they're gonna go to Moortown. They've talked with Stephen Pratt, chief down in Moortown. He can respond on North Road much quicker than
Yeah.
our folks can. His problem is he doesn't have staffing all the time. And in fact, Waitsfield oftentimes during the day has to respond to Moortown, mutual aid, to take care of Moortown. So we can't rely heavily on Moortown to respond. And we talked about the tanker truck. Tanker truck weighs 58,000 loaded,
Wow.
so. they're
That's
trying-
more than 8 tons.
Yeah, that's just under the 60.
58,000 pounds.
That's just under the 60,000 that the farmers are allowed. So, they're mulling in their heads how to get water to our places if they catch on fire.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing that.
Very, very productive discussion with them on multiple issues.
Were you done with your overview?
Just one other thing that you mentioned is that the schools are not using school buses
Yep.
over the
Yep.
bridge. They've
Yeah,
done
the
other
schools
arrangements.
came up with a plan. It took some work and it took them a few days, but they came up with a plan that they feel is good and they're not using the bridge. I'll just, to make up, just so I can hear, say what I think I heard, maybe look into legislators about future exemptions, or not exemptions.
Yeah, about a carve out to the carve out of the exemptions, that if there's a reasonable route available, and I don't know how they're gonna define that.
And there's a lot of exemptions that the agriculture sector has. This is just one example.
Huge.
Yeah. No,
Maybe look
yeah.
into Google Maps, Apple Maps, mapping to see if we can flag it as a
Maybe
thing.
511,
Wait, what?
contact 511, flag them there.
Yeah, put it to the 511 or the other traffic maps.
And then also, I think I feel like I'm just gonna beat this horse one more time, checking with V-Trans and really, since they've said quietly that they believe that the July 10, 2024 flooding event exacerbated the wear and tear on the bridge, above and beyond decking. See if we can, if that's shown if we can get them to show that in the inspection report, which is proving difficult, but I'm willing to recheck and see if they can relook at the inspection and add it, which would be very helpful for our conversation with FEMA.
I'd also like to, I think I flagged this last time, but right now, at least with the inspection report that I've seen, you can't read
I have email,
the
and
notes.
there's, we've done a lot with Mineral Bridge.
Sure.
And so as we talk, probably more things will come out. I did write all those people at V-Trans, and I have not heard back on.
I mean, there
I
might be,
sent
there
an
might be a
email with
sentence
your
in there.
request.
There might be a sentence in there, who knows?
I
We
did
haven't
ta-
seen.
I did talk to, they might be included in the administrative report, a couple people about the math, and they do feel strongly that the math is right. But I also said I would like to see, like, the select board would like to see.
You're talking about the eight tons.
Yeah, because you asked, and also the
I
three
just wanna be
tons,
able to
but-
read the explanatory notes that are cut off after about 10 words.
Let me
And I
circle
don't know
back
how long
with
they go
that.
on for, there could be a couple sentences there that we can't read.
Yeah, I'm not sure, they never responded to that email, so I'll re-email.
And I'm sorry if I cut you off.
No.
You all set?
I'm just waiting for him to finish, so interrupt him.
Okay.
The other thing, just going back to enforcement, beyond increased hours, is, I talked to a law enforcement person who kind of off the record was like, and I think we all acknowledge this, that a video or a picture of a tanker truck going over is not probable cause to enforce the crime, but it is a reasonable suspicion, and they can follow up with them very easily. So that's why I think we really should get, I don't know how many cars go over it a day, but we should get the camera that fits the needs of the bridge, and being able to get those pictures, review them, especially on the near-term basis, where we can say, okay, there's the Home Depot truck, there's the gas truck, there's, ones that are obviously going to be over 8 tons or possibly, and then, I think it's important for us to know that, and then I think there can be a further conversation with the sheriff's department and other law enforcement resources that if there are egregious violations, they can help us. They will not say, sorry.
They can't ticket.
They can't ticket based off of that, but they can say, they can look up the license plate, they can drop by, they can give them a call, they can do all the other things that they do when they get a reasonable suspicion of a violation, which is try to develop probable cause if they want.
I think that's similar, and sorry to cut you off, but it's similar to the most recent truck that hit the Village Bridge.
Exactly.
And our conversation with the Sheriff's Department that are looking into it, and that includes not only the height that they were over, but right when the sheriff looked at it, he said, I can tell you right now that truck's also overweight.
Yep.
So
just if you want some help looking at the different options for the tactical wildlife cameras that work on cellular and upload images or video, I'd be happy.
Cellular's fine, but technically speaking, we can do it without cellular, that just saves to it, and I'm happy to.
That's fine.
If you guys wanna get one, we can get one. and have
I'm
it
thinking
delivered.
of you or someone having to go down there frequently, if we can find one that.
It's good, we know someone that lives there. Just kidding.
Anyway,
I'll volunteer.
I'm not prescribing what the best option is, I just know that there are cellular and non-cellular options.
Could you put a red blinking light and video monitoring
Sign?
on the sign?
Yeah.
Just, literally, when people know there's a camera, they will change their behavior.
100%.
Now, it won't stop the agriculture truck coming across, but it might stop just about a lot of other people. When you see a camera, you feel like, all right, I don't wanna take a chance, I'm gonna have to argue this out.
Well, so.
I need to step away for just a sec, I'll be right back.
A non-cellular camera is just several hundred, does that sound right? Under 500?
Oh, yeah. We have a game camera. We were away for 3 weeks recently, and I know every car that turned away in my driveway. I know the 2 days my neighbor came and watered our plants. I know all the raccoons and foxes.
Good to know. Noted.
No bears?
And if you want,
No bears?
That was earlier this year.
I mean, I'm happy to, and Dave, I'm happy to work with you. I mean, I'm happy to order one and then set it up and work with probably
We'll
Josh
see
and
what
the
the
road
options
crew.
are. Yeah, you know,
A 2-pack of cellular, and you know, the data plan is, when you do the cellular, the data plan is the thing you gotta watch out for, but, a 2-pack of cellular cameras is $80.
Really, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I will highlight also that right now, the 2 signs, they're $695 a month.
so
And we have them for 1 month right now.
where is the second one? I only see the one on the 100 side.
It's on the other side, right?
Yeah,
It's on
both
what-
sides.
It's what's known as Rock Road. It's just down from the bridge on the corner.
No, I know where that one is. I didn't
Okay.
see the one on the other side. But
It's
maybe
right
I
there
just-
it's
right on the bridge.
Right on the bridge, yeah.
So I'll just highlight that. That's one, those are,
Yep.
I reserved this 1 month. If you want it longer, then we'll have to make that arrangement.
There's a live streaming or capture on demand one, that's $200.
So the cellular plan is the big thing.
What I really noticed is after Josh made his telephone calls, it was like boom.
Yeah.
And we won't have ag trucks anyhow for a couple of months now.
Well, they're doing manure right now.
I saw one
I was gonna say, I
spraying
think they're,
some liquid manure. Are
Yeah.
they, I thought it was late for that.
1
They were
December.
there yesterday.
1 December.
They did it
So
for
the
2
ban is
days
1
across the
December.
street, in and out all day for 2 days,
Yeah.
across the street from
Well,
this
they're
office.
pushing like crazy because of 1 December is
Yeah.
a closure
I see.
until 1 April.
Oh, really?
For some reason, I thought it was November 15th. No, but, no, right. So we should move on. If we can.
yes.
Yep.
Village Bridge?
Well, we've got the resolution on the 250th anniversary before the village bridge.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks very much.
Resolution.
We appreciate everybody's hard work.
Thank you.
Not easy running a democracy these days, no matter how big it is,
Thanks for coming.
or small, you bet.
Smaller's better.
And if there's anything anyone else wants to talk about or whatever, just let me know. I mean, there's been a lot of things that
Yeah.
have been done.
I kind of thought just having the newspaper article say there's cameras probably. was
Well, you can
pretty
get the
effective.
little signs right down the canyons that says surveillance.
So we have a proposed Vermont 250th anniversary resolution. I think the intent says that we will establish a liaison or local committee. Probably part of the motion should be to authorize the Historical Society to serve in that role. And my understanding is there's no expectation for additional town funding for the 250th anniversary celebration.
I have a clarifying question, about the second sort of stated whereas, the sort of whereas the Vermont 250th Anniversary Commission hopes to engage all 252 cities and towns through their many programs, projects, and events over the next several years. Are they talking about the commission itself creating those programs, projects, and events, or are they hoping to piggyback onto programs, projects, and events that those cities and towns are doing? Does that make sense?
I read it as the first one,
As the commission.
yeah,
Okay.
like replacing there with the commissions.
That's how
Okay.
that's how I read it. I think there is an expectation that there will be local events, but, and I think that.
Yeah, I wanna know if we're committing to, as a town, to hosting events and including them, or if, yeah, it wasn't clear what the commitment actually entailed.
I think the maximum there is hope, is up to the bar of hopes too, so I don't think
Yeah.
it's a commitment
Okay.
either way.
That's fair enough.
It says may provide funding as available. Like
And that's optional, and maybe we can delete that?
Yeah, I kept it just because I didn't want to unilaterally decide that we wouldn't have it.
What would
But
the
I did
board-
not fill that line in.
What would the board like to see happen?
I haven't really
Basically-
given it any thought.
I mean, if we leave that out, are we barred from providing funding in any way?
No.
No.
But we did get a request, we're getting our annual request for appropriations from various service organizations. And the Historical Society submitted theirs, which was, as we discussed with them, to help cover rent, but didn't ask for any additional appropriation for this.
The Historical Society hasn't even discussed this much at all yet, which I find bothersome, because if we want to do something significant or semi-significant next summer, we need to start planning right now.
Well, I think, I could leave it either way. We may, or just delete it. We could, there's still time to, it doesn't bar us from it.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a copy for you guys to sign tonight if you like it as shown. If you want it different, then we can make it how you like it, and then even bring it to like the December 8th meeting. And there's no rush to have this signed immediately.
What do folks want to do?
I'm fine signing it now.
I'm happy to sign it kind of as is.
I'd like to discuss it.
Okay.
I'd like to see what their plan is. I'm no longer the president of the Historical Society. I would like to see what their plan is. I'd like to see Waitsfield do something.
Oh, so you want there to be an explicit mention of what's going to be happening in
Yeah, I'd like
in
to
here?
see a plan, yeah.
Before this is signed.
Yeah.
I guess I don't see a need for that. I think we're endorsing something.
See a need for a plan, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure the timing. Like to me, we can sign this that's fairly open-ended, and this is signaling our support for the governor's plan, his executive order. We definitely need a plan. I'm not sure we need a plan before we sign this, in my opinion. But
I mean, I think
I agree.
you do want to designate someone, whether it's the Historical Society or other. That's the biggest ask of this, I would say.
My understanding, Alice is now the,
Mhm.
yeah, and I talked to her today, and she said they're planning an event, and they're not gonna be expecting an appropriation. And that the Historical Society would serve as the liaison.
Okay.
I mean, this says, resolved,
Mhm.
the town of Waitsfield officially establishes a liaison or local committee, but it doesn't define the committee. I don't think we need to define it, right? We say
Committee
we are
or
establishing
person.
a committee, and that will be filled at a later time, right?
So, wanna go ahead and sign it, and,
I'm good with that.
is there a motion?
works for me. I'd make a motion to approve it.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Hi,
Opposed?
you don't technically need my signature, but you can send it to me if you want
Fred, and anytime.
someone without a Y chromosome to sign.
Sorry, Lisa. Anytime that the Historic Society has something, you know, if they let me know, I'll add it to the agenda.
Mm-hmm. I'll pass that on.
Village Bridge. So, it's closed tomorrow for 2 hours for deck repair?
Yeah,
I saw
so
the signs.
tomorrow.
Are there signs up?
Yeah.
I was worried about that.
From 9 to 11, Jen posted it on Front Porch Forum, I believe. And also, I think at the same time, Josh's crew is gonna repair where it's been hit twice.
Okay.
And Miles and his crew is gonna do the decking. I think this is more of a short-term fix, because some boards are kind of popping up, and I think that's a problem for winter. So he's gonna work on getting those down, still with the expectation that he's gonna give us a quote for how much it's gonna cost to do a more thorough inspection, which he said really needs to happen, before we plan for what that big repair will look like. Right now, you know, it seems that some of the beams that are underneath the decking is fixed to, some are soft. And so some of those, the expectation will need to be replaced, or, you know.
And those are the beams that also carry the weight of the vehicles.
Yeah, they're probably important.
Yeah, that's my point. That's my point.
So the short notice is just, Miles is out straight before winter, and he said, I can be there tomorrow.
Yeah, it happened very quickly.
So I prepare for maybe some criticism of not giving people a heads up, but that's the reality of it.
He actually has still never responded to my multiple emails and phone calls, so this was thanks, he contacted Josh, and so it's happening.
Was
and
was
it's
that
working.
for looking into potential advanced barriers or warnings that people would run into, or was that something else?
There's multiple things that Miles and I are working on, and that is one of them, yes. And every time I talk to him, he says, yeah, I'm working on that, that drawing's gonna come to you.
Once he gets here, though, he does a good job.
He's awesome.
In looking at the bridge stuff, there's a Vermont Covered Bridge Society or
Yep.
commission.
Which
He's
Miles,
part of
which
it.
Miles is on
He's
it.
part of it, okay, so if you're having trouble getting a recommendation, maybe they would have.
I think
Other.
we declined their offer to purchase a covered bridge celebration banner
Right.
last summer.
And coming back to bite us.
I'll add that Josh Rogers and I had a conversation, and he knows the people, the players for the covered bridge repairs, and
Now we wanna celebrate.
he feels very strongly about using Miles for our covered bridge
It's
repairs.
very-
Yeah.
Cool.
I'd like to get a proposal from him for those repairs as we go into the
Yes,
budget season. I'd like to
Yep.
include it in this year's.
yes.
My hope was actually
Being
to,
in emergency management, I have to look at the worst case scenarios. And it would be tragic if we lost 2 bridges.
yeah, agreed. I was hoping to meet with them tomorrow, and I'm gonna try to meet up with them, but I'm also meeting with our engineer for the wastewater project, and he's gonna be here almost all morning. And that's a lot of archaeology work and tree work, et cetera. So if anybody wants to go talk to Miles, he'll be at the covered bridge apparently from 9 to 11.
I may swing by. Yeah.
Because
have
I
a
would
meeting
really like the
down
things
here in the
that-
village at 11.
And did
You
we
might
hear,
I would do it if I was there, but I'm not.
did we hear anything from the truck owner company or anything?
About the most recent hit?
Yeah.
I haven't talked to the sheriff's department since that day, so I don't know, I
Okay.
can't say. I mean, we had 2 conversations about it, and it seemed like the sheriff's department had it, knew how to move forward. So I don't know.
I'd like to know,
I mean, I'll check in with the sheriff's department tomorrow.
because we got his plate number and everything.
And that's, I mean, maybe it's not fair to assume, but based on the photograph that was taken, my guess is that it's affiliated with a company that does a lot of service, I mean, in the state, but in our area as well. And I feel like if they're serving our community effectively, it would be really great for them to be aware of height restrictions on covered bridges that are our local assets. Yeah, I don't think that's an unfair expectation to have of them.
Yeah, and there is a penalty for doing that in state law, and then some towns have put in expanded penalties, like Linden, I saw, put 10 grand per incident.
Is that what they did?
Yeah, so I
Now you're getting Fred's attention.
I started to draft an email about it, but I just haven't been able to send it yet, but
I think we ought to have an ordinance to that effect.
You gotta get it passed through the legislature, that's the problem.
I know,
Is it
town
a-
ordinance?
Is it a charter?
Yeah, or, I'll send it around.
Yeah.
But Linden is in the,
I mean, they're on the
statutes.
forefront of, like anytime you reach out to them, like, just talk to Lyndon.
Yeah.
They had one of those head knockers.
You
in
can
Nagga.
tell when you Google covered bridge.
Really?
Penalty, yeah.
10,000 raises a lot of.
Well, if you get stuck in the notch, that's 2,400.
Is that all?
I've been trying so hard to keep them out of there, but anyway.
So we're, anything
Pine
else
Brook?
on the village bridge?
No.
Pine Brook?
Do you want to mention Pine Brook?
Yeah, Pine Brook's got
Yeah,
loose
the agenda.
floorboard,
Go ahead.
loose floorboards, and where this, did you say it just got hit again?
That's what Josh told me.
So that's
this
twice
weekend.
within a couple of weeks?
Mhm.
Oh my. I don't know what, same side?
I believe so.
Oh
Coming
my.
down from the common?
No, going,
the other
heading south.
The north side.
Oh.
It's on the north side of the bridge, yeah. Yeah, it took out a series of boards and looked like a 2x4 cross member.
Yeah, that kind of holds, like it's superficial, I mean, it's not structural, but yes. And again, our road crew is fixing that. And
They're
I
fixing that.
haven't talked to Miles, but my most recent conversation, outreach to Miles was also mentioning the floorboards on the decking of the Pine Brook covered bridge.
Yeah. Because I'm afraid it's probably the same thing happening. The
It's possible.
beams underneath are becoming compromised and the nails, screws aren't holding the floorboards down.
And he did that for us, like
Flopping.
the mapping he did of this bridge, and he did every single beam.
Did
He
he?
went through with the drill, and he called me, and we went and looked at it. My guess is he'll do the same thing with the Pine Brook.
Yeah.
And he did that actually for free. It took him 2 mornings. So that's, yeah,
So
essentially, that's,
moving forward on both of those.
yep.
Great.
When you check the mapping for the Meadow Road, can you also see if we can put Low Bridge or something like that? If it keeps getting it, for our other covered bridges.
Yeah. I've been curious about sort of how different mapping apps get their information, because among other things, the speed limits are often not accurate on GPS, depending on which service
Yep.
you're using. It doesn't reflect what the actual, and I'm guilty of assuming that that is what the speed limit is if I don't remember what sign I saw last. So I feel like that's a bigger question that if we get a clear answer on, I'd love to hear about.
It's on my notes.
Cool.
Yeah, I was using Waze a lot the last couple of weeks, and it was remarkable that you'd see a 65 sign, and you're coming from a 45, and it would change right when you got to
Yep.
the sign. It was kind of amazing,
It really is amazing.
but I wouldn't trust it entirely.
And then they also tried to take me over a class 4 road in Chelsea, that ended in boulders.
Do you still have a front of your car, or did you figure it out before?
We said, nope.
So we put budget planning discussion just as a heads up mainly. We really haven't dug into it, but when we talk about our upcoming schedule, we will be talking with the fire department in Facein on fire department budget and the road agreement. I have agreed to sit down with York with the budget from last year and kind of start going through it. Probably one of the first things we ought to do is meet with Charlie and Josh, which is such a big chunk of the budget. We can walk through all the other pieces. Hoping, Josh, you could do the same with the
Yeah.
capital budget. I had suggested maybe the three of us get together
Yeah.
to talk about last year.
Yeah, I mean, that would be obviously very helpful for
And-
all the obvious reasons.
And budget, we should plan on every meeting in January, every Monday.
Yep, it's on the timeline for meetings.
Do you have anything else about the budget?
No, I just wanted to just say it's time to probably start looking at it. You know, I think us meeting is the most important, probably first step, and then planning on meeting with, like Jen and I have been having conversations about mostly appropriations, and just making sure we don't, you know, aren't feeling rushed at the end.
Yep. Lisa Lewis called me a week or two ago to say, what's going on with healthcare? I said, I don't know, we haven't done anything yet. And she had just been to the Warren Selectboard meeting where they were looking at their healthcare increases, and they're changing their whole structure, I understand.
Oh, are they?
In response to
Rising
increasing costs.
Yeah, so we have, Larissa pointed us in the direction of one person, they're
Yes.
not able to do it, but one of their colleagues is, and so they're working on some type of plan for us. And yeah, we're looking at the different options. Currently, the town covers the hugest proportion of the platinum plan, which is the best plan for the employees, and so, which obviously everyone really appreciates. But it doesn't mean there's not another viable option of looking at the gold or silver, maybe with the HSA to assist it, that maybe would end up being just as good for the employees, but also a savings for the town, and that's just something we're beginning to look into.
For sure. And
I think assuming that, sorry.
There you go.
No, I was just gonna say, assuming that platinum is the best is perhaps an oversimplification, and I think we'll probably be able to get a little bit more nuance. Well, I won't get into it, but I think that it is important to be able to provide good, health insurance to the town staff. I think that there are multiple ways to accomplish that, and I'm looking forward to hearing kind of what options we have.
Yeah, I'll just add that one staff member has already come to me and has some concerns. Like they already have something scheduled for next year, it's taken several years to get to this place, and they know what they're planning for. And I said, I don't know what to say, I can't promise anything, but I know the select board really supports the staff of the town. And so our, goal is to not certainly create a burden. But understanding the budgetary implications of healthcare is pretty big right now, so.
What's our when's our re-enrollment period and all that? Like, is this a imminent decision we need to make before the budget process plays itself out, or?
That's a great question. I don't remember
don't-
last year.
I don't remember, because now I'm confusing it. Jen hasn't made it sound like it's dire. I mean, you know, I go to Jen for a lot of these things, because she is our expert.
As the history.
I thought it went into effect July 1 of our fiscal year, just as we had, because it's not on the exchange, so you don't have that
Right.
window for
Yeah, I'm the note.
enrollment.
That would, I don't want to
Unless-
say it wrong, so I need to look
Township
into.
operates differently somehow. I mean, we get our coverage through the Vermont League of Cities and Towns, right?
Yeah.
So there must be a open enrollment period
Yeah.
where they would like announce the plan pricing for the upcoming year and the different options.
Yeah, and it's been released. I mean, we have that. But I don't remember a date, and I could probably look into.
Okay, but we have that, we have the pricing
I mean, I believe that's what it is, yes. Again, I don't want to misquote
of the
anything.
different plan options. Because that's what we would kind of need for the budget and need for decision-making,
Yep.
and like, do we need to change this?
Yep.
Yeah, last year I remember plugging in the numbers from the VLCT
Yeah.
spreadsheet.
Okay.
Yeah, I almost feel like I included that in one of the select board meeting packets recently, but maybe I didn't.
I think so.
You don't think so?
I don't recall.
I have it, and so.
You did, I don't think we talked about it.
I'm pretty sure Jen sent it to me, and so if I have it, I'll include it. I'll make sure everyone gets it. But again, we're just starting to begin to talk budget, so I
Yeah.
haven't spent tons of time
Yeah.
on it. Just looking
When-
into new options.
Just looping back really quickly, when you're talking with Charlie and Josh, it would be great to get a breakout of what it would cost to do additional sort of striping on East Warren Road for the fog lines, and also the painting that was part of the plan for the repaving of Bridge Street.
Yep.
To sort of indicate the pedestrian areas. I mean, even if it's, do you know what I'm talking about, Brian? You were saying it was
Yes.
gonna be like green on the sides or something to indicate that there was. I know that doing that is not a foregone conclusion. I know that it's non-trivial, but I do think it's worth having conversation about whether or not it's a worthwhile addition.
I stopped into the town office today and Josh was in with York and we talked about it and Josh said he would get a price for the striping. It couldn't be done until spring. But he'll have a price and we can.
The striping or the price?
The striping. The price can
Right,
come
okay.
sooner. And we talked about, if you remember, Johnny Broder was in talking
Yeah.
about the no parking area. Josh was pretty adamant that he interpreted the suggestion that we had made, that I had made, that we delineate pedestrian areas as that being a really critical pedestrian area for kids. And that a lot of kids walk across the bridge to school, and that he felt strongly that parking should not be allowed there. Whether we can take it further and do a pedestrian area up past Myanmar, I think is a good question that maybe Josh can look into when he looks into the the fog striping.
Yeah, I mean, I had a meeting today after that meeting, and you know, even the conversation about, is that yellow line, the central line in the right spot, and should it be shifted over so that you could really create almost a sidewalk on the side with striping.
From the bridge to Jocelyn Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's part of what we're talking about, I think, and I think it's a good idea, especially when you start looking at
On which side?
access points for Blue Ledges.
On the
Probably,
north side.
I think the north side.
North side, okay.
And then, yeah, I mean, this is also, you know, in coordination in some ways with access to Blue Ledges, in well, in my mind, it partially is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, I'll just, Josh was very, very adamant that he feels very strongly about that no parking before the bridge.
That it's a public safety, and a child safety issue then.
Yeah, I mean, when kids from school bike out that
Yeah.
walkway to go to their house on
Yeah.
Bridge
And
Street.
I can't remember if this was John's concern or ours. His was, I thought that it just went too far. It wasn't like we shouldn't have any striping there. He just thought it extended too far up the hill from the bridge.
And he said, no, there was no place for people who are coming down to take a picture
Take
of the
pictures,
bridge.
yeah. So they,
That now they're parking in a different spot
yeah.
to people's detriment.
maybe we extend the no parking, and they can park on the other side of the bridge and walk.
And maybe a sign to that effect might be an interesting idea, to say, like, if you wanna park and take pictures, here's where you go.
Yeah. There's
Also be
public-
something to communicate to the chamber, possibly, for tourists.
Yeah,
Yep.
good point. There's public parking on the other side of the bridge.
Yeah, with businesses, you know?
So again, our next meeting's on the 8th, it'll be a short meeting, 6 o'clock early at the fire station. And then we'll meet here on the 15th for a regular meeting and probably start digging into the budget.
So is the one on the 8th, I know since it's at the fire station, logistically, that's more challenging for me to attend. Should I still try to?
I'm planning on having a computer
Okay,
and
Cool.
having, I mean, I think it's appropriate to be as transparent as possible at every step, you know, and so I think it's appropriate to have a Zoom link for that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that'd be great.
They do
Super.
Zoom over there already.
Do they?
Yeah, yeah, they showed it to me the other day.
Do they have an owl or something like that?
No. No, this is
I've even thought, like, is it worth taking the owl on, and it might be, but, if it's just Larissa, it'd probably be okay to be on the computer, but the owl does really help with, the microphone.
I'm sure he can fly across the road.
That's pretty funny, Brad.
alright, well, I will plan to be there, and that, well, as much there as I can be.
Yeah, no, that's a good reminder, I need to create a Zoom link and then share that meeting, and, thank you.
So we have two items, we have the minutes and the warrants. I guess we made the warrants a consent agenda, but we could have a motion on the minutes. The reason that we pulled it off the consent agenda was it said that I called the meeting to order, and I did not. I zoomed in kind of at the start of the meeting, and only participated for the first two items.
Yep, and I changed it earlier today. That was the only thing that I think I saw.
That's all I
That was
saw.
incorrect.
Anything else? A motion on those?
I can make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
Hi.
And a motion on the warrants? And bills?
Make a motion that we pay the bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
I mean, I'll
I'm sure
plan
the
on those being at the
Staff
December
would be
8th
quite
meeting.
pleased.
Brian, we'll plan on having the warrant at the December 8th meeting.
Oh, good, yeah.
That's in.
So we'll put that on the agenda with everything, the other items. Town administrator?
I don't know, is there anything in here I didn't cover? No, I think that's, the traffic ordinance, I wanna have a couple meetings, before I, present that to the select board. And I'll just share the animal ordinance officially went, live the 21st, and so that's live on the website, and that's, officially adopted.
Personally, I like the kind of bullet point format of your report. Made it super easy to read.
Oh,
Just
good.
Yes.
kind of hone in
I was
on
also
it.
going
Yes.
to
Yep.
compliment that.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
picked
that
up on the
was
same
really
thing, very well done.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
agendas too. I think that format's gotten
Well, the agenda's thanks to Brian, and I like the format as well.
that.
Even without the consent agenda, it looks amazing.
And the round table, but we won't.
Well, roundtable's on there.
Is it?
Was on
Yeah,
here.
it's on there.
Number 8.
So select board
Oh, I
roundtable?
stand corrected.
Select board roundtable?
I can go very quickly. We had the Mad River Valley Planning District Steering Committee Budget Planning Meeting on Thursday last week. And I can share with anyone kind of a draft work plan and a draft budget that they have. Let me know how best to do that without going through it in many minutes now. Their goal is a 5% increase for funders for the budget. And then for the, I just opened it. Shoot, I just lost it. Here it is. The work plan, I just wanted to solicit any additional items that the select board wanted to ask for support for, in the 26, 27 year. And I can share that around, but just to flag that as something to think about. We're going to kind of do amendments to the work plan and probably vote on the budget next meeting in December, so.
Then we'll go through all of the organizational support at one of our regular board meetings.
Okay, and one big reason for the 5% increase, which is less than the last couple of years, but, and less than, since 2017, it's been through last year, a 7.8% annualized increase, mostly driven by the last 2 years. They are planning on doing their first audit of the organization, which is still cost uncertain, but they're gonna try to do their best to make it efficient and inexpensive as possible.
Is there, well, just top of my head, the support they've given to the wastewater project has been invaluable.
No, I said that at the meeting, and I think everyone appreciates that. Without them,
Is there a staff change there?
That is another part of the update. Sam Robinson is departed. He is still consulting on a part-time basis to hopefully help train the replacement. The job posting is out now. It was in 7 days last week.
I've been out of town.
I can forward.
That's a loss. Sam was great.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and we sent him off at the meeting, and yeah, it's a loss for the community for sure. But they're actively looking for his replacement right now.
One of the last things that he did actually was put together a draft of a LOT white paper that's Waitsfield specific.
Yep.
That sort of drills down on our numbers rather than doing a townwide thing. I haven't seen it yet.
Not out yet.
But that's something that is coming in early December. And I think the little subcommittee is meeting on Thursday of that first week as well.
Just guessing from your comments that the work plan includes continued work by Josh on wastewater?
Yes.
Excellent.
Anything else?
Yeah, and I can just read the 27 work plan considerations, so I don't have to forward this part around, is Waitsfield Wastewater Infrastructure Project, 2026 Data Report and Community Dashboard, MRV Wellbeing Survey, Waitsfield STR Support, Sugar Bush Access Road, Shared Use Path, Mile 100 Active Transportation Corridor Implementation, Mad Bus Transition from GMT to TBT, CRV 2.0, Flood Resilience Efforts with FMR, MRV Rural Resource Commission, I'm 75% of the way done, by the way. Sugar Bush Projects, MRV PD Admin, Communication and Outreach, Warrentown Garage, and MRV LOT. So if there are, I can forward this, but if there are things that.
So they're still taking on the CBR, the recreation, conservation, because that was kind of Sam's, and I was unsure about that.
This page says considerations, and they are mostly moving on from that. Yes.
I would encourage some continued participation, just to provide that valley-wide.
I think they are going to stay engaged, but not as
Not in the coordinating.
Yes, exactly.
Fred?
Nope, nothing.
Josh? Marissa, do you have anything for roundtable?
And it's possible that this was sort of discussed informally before I actually signed on, but I know that we were talking about the driving while intoxicated incident that happened and resulted in pretty significant damage to property. And I was just wondering if there is anything in our process as a board, in our interviews of folks coming in for their liquor licenses that, I don't know, we might want to think about. I know that there is signage usually about having a designated driver, things like that. But I don't know if that's something that is required by the state or if that's just something that some establishments decide they're going to do. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily need to reflect in our process. I just wanted to acknowledge that was a pretty significant occurrence, and I'm not sure if the establishment serving the individual was an establishment in our town, but that part of our policy in which we're able to call folks in to come talk to us, that it might be appropriate in this case.
You want to talk, I think Fred
I'd
mentioned
be,
it earlier.
yeah, I'd be very curious to get the police report on that, see what his blood alcohol content was. And if he, I assume it was a he, yeah, it was a he.
Yep.
Was served at an establishment within Waitsfield.
Sorry, Brian.
If we can find
Yeah, I
that
think
out.
that's good for us to know, and
I think
And
it's,
if it was somebody, I think we do have the authority under
You
the
do.
ordinance to ask them to come in and,
just have a little chit chat with us.
yes.
If it's okay, then I'll look into that tomorrow and reach out to the state.
yeah, and I'm sure
the state troopers.
I'm sure liquor control will also be looking into it, since this is a primary reason for the very strict dram shop laws that Vermont has. You know, and I don't know about like the specific rules around signage or things like that, but for sure, over serving they will be definitely looking at that, and we can incorporate it as part of our process as well.
So we have 2 executive session items. Yep. One on cybersecurity and one on contract negotiation.
Yeah, and hopefully I got the statute numbers right this time, Dave. Dave
The
fixed it
contract one
last
looks
time.
like what I read last time.
Yeah, so,
So a motion to go into executive session for those 2 items.
Do you want me to look up the cybersecurity one, or you feel good
no,
about it?
it should be right. I
Okay.
feel pretty good. I
All right.
tried to make sure.
Your funeral.
Wow.
Just kidding. No, we're good. That also, A10, great.
So it's moved on from the beginning of the meeting.
I know. I'll go pack my bags.
No, I'm saying I should have done work memorizing them.
Yeah, Dave.
So is there a
I
motion?
didn't, that's what I'm saying, so.
Yes, so moved.
But you are making that motion.
I'm making that
Okay.
motion pursuant to 1 VSA 3:13A10, entering into executive session to discuss cybersecurity, and pursuant to 1 VSA 3:13A1A, contract
Second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
fell apart.
Aye.